What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Time. I am your host, Jacob Cove, the Fantasy Guy, and today we got a solid two-part video for you. Yes, we are recapping week number 1 of the NFL season, and then in the next video, obviously, you know what it is. It's going to be our normal meat on the 50, but yes, we are changing it up. We are trying out new things. We are making it even easier for you to watch videos here at Fantasy Time, making them a lot more consumable, right? We are thinking of you. So, that's just what we do. You can just call us people pleasers. You can call us, just lovers of our audience, right? We're just thinking of you. So that's all we're going to do. We're just making it easier for you to consume. But if at any point during either of these videos that you are about to watch or that you are going to watch, right? Please smash that like button if you like what you're seeing. Please smash the subscribe button, right? And then please just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime new videos drop, you're right there to consume the content, because we are dropping videos, knowledge, sauce, fire. Oh, you guys have heard it before, right? You guys have heard it before. We're dropping it all season long, and we're dropping it for you, right? It is right there for you guys to consume. So just do us a favor, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, just smash that bell notification. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest content. But without further ado, let's just talk about it. Let's just break it down. Let's recap week number 1 of the NFL season. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. What an absolutely wild week 1 we just saw this past weekend. We're coming at you with some double trouble this weekend. Yeah, we're dropping 2 episodes. We're talking recap of last week and, of course, our normal picks and predictions for this week. As always, joining me, my right-hand man, one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, I always ask you, how you doing?
Doing good, Jake. Super excited for another episode. Like you said, double the trouble. We're going to come out with 2 different episodes for everyone, and, obviously encapsulating all of the action that occurred in this crazy monsoon of a week. One,
that's for sure.
And obviously, always giving you our picks on next week that we hope to do better on. So, how you feeling, Jake?
I'm feeling pretty good. Last week was definitely tough. I know you had to deal with a monsoon, as you said, for your team. The weather was ridiculous there in Chicago, and I kind of said the weather's always crazy there in Chicago. So, that was definitely something. The Bengals game was something. We're gonna talk about it all, but definitely, right? For some, last week was forgettable. Him and I, forgettable. We wanted to forget about last week. For others, it was memorable, right? For some of those teams out there, it was some of the most interesting action they have seen in years. And I'm talking about the Seahawks. I'm talking about the Giants. I'm talking about the Texans. Right? I'm talking about who would have thunk the Washington Dumpster Fire Commanders, right? Some interesting action that we got to see last week, but we're gonna break it all down. But first, let's look at the overall season records, right? Let's just see how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. All right, starting us off for you. You're getting the season going positively. That's what we want, right? You're starting us off positively, going 8-7 last week on the overall record for the games. Going 0-1 though on the guaranteed victory. Now, not too in depth, because we're gonna break it down, but just give me your surface thoughts about that last week.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I feel like that's the only word that I can use to explain the week. It was madness. It was, some of the closest games I've ever seen. Some of the craziest games I've ever seen. Some of the luckiest games I've ever seen, and exactly what you're talking about there, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it was a wild week, and super entertaining week though. Although it was not the way I wanted it to be, and we both can agree on that, I was super captivated by all the different games, and it's It feels like we're rolling from last year right into this year, and it feels like picked up right where we left off.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. We really did. We really did. Now, for myself, we'll just put it up there, right? Okay. All right. We're one game behind. I'll take it. Week 1 was always crazy, right? Last year was even worse for myself, week 1. So 7-8, I'll take it. Going 0-1 on my guaranteed victories. Are you kidding me, Colts? Are you kidding me? You're going to tie week 1 and then you're going to waive Rodrigo? That just it felt racist, okay? I mean, what do you got, something against glasses, with people with glasses or something? What is going on there in Indianapolis? I wonder who's going to be kicking. Maybe they're going to call Adam Vinatieri to come out of retirement. I have no idea. But starting my guaranteed victories off on a tie, better than a loss, not as good as a win. We'll leave it at that. Let's wipe that off the screen because we're done talking about the records. Let's dive into it. We've talked about it enough. We've scratched the surface enough. Now it's time to just kind of just break it all down. Just what the hell did we see this past Thursday, this past Sunday, and this past Monday? What the hell did we see? So Brandon, kick us off. Give me some of your thoughts about what we saw on Thursday with the Bills and the Rams.
Well, as far as who I thought was going to win that game, that actually went in my favor. I really did believe that the Bills were going to win that game. The way that they won it, I don't think either of us thought that they were going to win it by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that the Rams weren't going to really score much in that second half there. Actually, I don't even think they scored at all. I think they went into half 10-10 and they didn't score any points. So the Bills did something at halftime. And they really turned things around. Everybody was, Josh Allen looked like the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And he
hands
looked
down.
like the
hands down
of this season. And that's who I think is going to be the MVP. I mean, obviously it's week 1, but he looked like that guy. Stephon Diggs looked like a top 5 receiver. He's back in his form. Gabe Davis picked up right where he left off from the playoffs.
Who is this Gabe Davis? Who is Gabriel Davis, right? Coming out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, this guy you make a good point. This guy is incredible. And so he has just made a name for himself. He's a household name now. And then getting to the Rams, Matt Stafford, didn't look too good. Looked kind of lost without having Odell Beckham Jr. out there. Cooper Kupp is always going to Cooper Kupp. He's an amazing receiver. Still, to me, the top 3 receiver in the NFL.
He's incredible, absolutely.
And then you got Jalen Ramsey, who's just getting torched left and right. Stephon Diggs kind of had some words for him. So love the outcome as a 49er fan. You hope for days like that. Spoil that little Super Bowl ceremony or whatever.
Yeah, that was nice.
Fraudulent LA. Love to see the LA teams lose. It was a heck of a game. What were your thoughts on that opening night?
Yeah, that was, that's definitely one way to kick off the NFL season, right? Just spoiling the Rams, Super Bowl party, which, yes, by the way, is definitely awesome. Yeah. The Bills look great. We'll see if they can continue this. That is the issue with the Bills. They let their foot off the gas because they know how good of a team they actually are. They just have to floor it the entire season and not let up. That's the only way the Bills are going to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. And yeah, that definitely looked like a team that was ready to go, hungry, just chomping at the bits to get onto the field. So the Buffalo Bills definitely, I think, making one of the biggest statements in week 1 early on, first game of the season. So Buffalo Bills, a team to definitely watch out for this season, right? Sunday morning was insane. I don't know any other way to describe it. It was just absolutely insane, right? We had the Washington Dumpster Fire Commanders and the abysmal Jacksonville Jaguars. Until they are good, they're terrible. They're just horrible. And I love Trevor Lawrence and I love players on their team, but they're just bad. That game came down to the wire. You had the Texans up 20-6, blowing a 14-point lead, tying the game. Atlanta Falcons doing what the Atlanta Falcons do, blowing a 16-point lead to the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
Atlanta. And then we had just the ugliest game of the entire day, which was the Bengals and Steelers game. Joey clearly needed some preseason games. That appendicitis definitely was not the greatest for him. He needed preseason games because he looked terrible. The O-line looked terrible, and I'm not so much gonna blame the O-line. I'm gonna blame the head coach for not playing the starters in the preseason.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Oh yeah.
Get these guys some chemistry bonding time, right? They're not just gonna gel all at once together. That's not how it works. All right, so that was absurd. That was absolutely absurd. And then, I mean, I could have sworn that they were taking a bath there in Chicago and not even playing football. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was downpouring to the max. It was just crazy. The Niners couldn't do anything. The Bears could hardly do anything. We got some big injuries in week one. So, I mean, what are you taking away from the Sunday morning games?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the nail. That it was a wild Sunday morning, wacky Sunday morning. I mean, everything that could go wrong would go wrong, and it just did. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. First thing I want to highlight is how many missed kicks there were. I mean, it's just like it was like the most missed kicks I've ever seen in like a span of 3 hours ever. I mean, you got backup. I mean, you got backup, long snappers. You got laces out. You got high snaps. You got kicks in the rain. You got extra points missed. And so, crazy, weird game in Atlanta. You know, I actually picked the Saints. So I was actually pulling for Atlanta for a little bit there. I was like, man, these underdogs, they're looking pretty good. But, Atlanta did what Atlanta does. Like you said, they blow leads. I mean, 28-3. What more do I have to say? They just blow leads, and that's just how Atlanta is. And if it wasn't for the Braves, Atlanta would just be in big trouble. So, and then, obviously the 49ers game, like you said, I thought it was like they were taking a bath out there. I saw some of the shot popcorn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
With water.
Yeah.
People just, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, towards the end of the game, it was raining so hard I could barely even see the field. And sometimes you see it on snow games, not on rain games. So it was wild to see that. It was actually, to be honest, it was a boring yet entertaining game. I don't know how to explain that, but it's just crazy once, there's fumbles, there's balls getting dropped, there's hard hits, and then there's, just sloppy football. But you got to have games like that in the football season and the elements, and what a way to bring in the new season. As far as the Steelers versus Bengals, man, you know what though? I got to give Joe Burrow credit, even though he came out with 4 interceptions. This guy is so good that he almost overcame that performance to take you guys back in the final seconds. He did his job. So anybody that is out there saying that he did not do his job, give this man his flowers. He is an incredible quarterback. He dusted it off. He got a touchdown to Jamar Chase with literally nothing left on the clock. That's not his fault that the long snapper got hit and that the kick couldn't, obviously it's not Chase's fault, Jamar Chase or McLaughlin's fault. Or wait, who's the kicker for the...
McPherson.
Yeah. McLaughlin's that retread kicker that missed the overtime kick in Seattle. I got no more to say about him, but McPherson, not his fault, not Jamar Chase's fault. And I love the iconic FU to Minkah Fitzpatrick from Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is currently my favorite wide receiver in the NFL. I love this man. But hopefully they will be able to bounce back next week. We'll get into that. Philadelphia and the Lions, man, that broke my heart. I really wanted...
That was a great one, too. The
Lions put up a fight. I love Dan Campbell. You could see the fight that they did.
Yeah.
They almost pulled it off. I'm cheering for them every single game this season. I hope that they can try to, make a push for the playoffs at some point. Breaks my heart that that they're putting everything into it and coming up this short. As far as Mac Jones,
I think
he's a fraud. I always has thought he's a fraud. Tua Tagovailoa, perfect dime to Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Waddle waddling his way into the end zone. Love watching the Dolphins come back to life because they got our former coordinator, Mike McDaniel. Yeah. Shouts out Mike McDaniel. And then just unpacking a couple of more games here. The Washington Commanders, not much to say about that. The Dumpster Fire Commanders got it done. I thought they would. The Jaguars are just a bad football team. They always have been. Don't know what's going to happen with them. And then, obviously, to cap things off, the last game I wanted to cover was the Browns versus the Panthers. Way to break Baker Mayfield's heart. I mean, this man did everything that he could to get his team in a position to win, and then you make a Justin Tucker type kick at the end of the game to just break this man's heart. I feel so bad for him after what Browns didn't deserve to win that game. Browns should be 0-11 until Deshaun Watson comes back. Unfortunately, they won.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Baker for having a pretty good first game with Carolina.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a crazy, Sunday morning. Definitely a more interesting Sunday morning than I would say Sunday afternoon. But yeah, I mean, Sunday morning basically had it all. You had games. I think you had, 3 or 4? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games come down to the wire. So I don't know how much more you could ask for that. We saw some interesting outcomes. The Steelers did eventually pull it out. I did think that may go to a tie. Obviously, I was hoping it would go to a tie with how bad the long snapping situation is there in Cincinnati, apparently, with Clark Harris out. Hopefully that gets fixed because, we definitely need him. But, I mean, we saw it all. I mean, the Texans, we'll see what happens with the Texans this season. They're going to be an interesting team to watch because, they came out and they were dominating the Colts. Absolutely dominating, and then it kind of fell back into normalcy, was what we kind of all expect, with Matt Ryan having a good game, Michael Pittman going off. So the Colts are definitely going to be a team to watch, but maybe the Texans in the South are going to be a team to watch. The divisional matchups the Sunday morning was crazy. The Saints and the Falcons, you failed to mention this, but we actually had a Michael Thomas alert. The man is alive.
Goodness, the man's been found. Yep, you are right.
He's back in the NFL, and he's coming in absolutely clutch for the Saints, scoring not 1 but 2 clutch touchdowns for them to pull them back into that game and eventually help them overtake and win that game. So, Michael Thomas, for everybody who was worried, has been found, has been located, and I am happy to report that he is okay. All right, we can stop the search. Michael Thomas has
we were looking everywhere last year for this man.
We were looking everywhere, high and low, under couches, under rugs, behind doors, under sheets, in hampers, in trash cans, everywhere. We could not find this man to save our life. But good news. Michael Thomas.
He was lost,
has been found.
Yeah,
he was lost, but now he has been found. That's for sure. Helping the Saints get the big win on Sunday, right? Moving on to Sunday afternoon, and I have to give a team props. They came out and got the job done. And I'll be honest, if a certain team keeps losing, a certain head coach is not going to be there next year. The Giants, the G-Men. Unbelievable heart and effort, and hello, Saquon Barkley. Welcome back, and please stay healthy. For the love of God, you have tree trunk for thighs. It is unacceptable that you have these leg injuries. It is unacceptable. Unacceptable. The Giants coming out and getting a massive win against the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill, I'll be honest, he did all he could. He did what he was supposed to do. He got them into the chance to win. But Danny Dimes, and Brian the Bull, or whatever. Good for him. Good for Danny Dimes. Ryan Tannehill, you're on your way out. Mike Vrabels, if you don't switch to Malik Willis, you're going to be on your way out too, my friend. Because if you don't win a playoff game, you're done. It's just that simple. It's that easy. If you don't win a playoff game this year, there will be a new head coach in Tennessee next season. Believe that. The Vikings dominating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, which always seems to happen to Aaron early on in the season. Can never seem to get it right. See, visually frustrated on the sideline with how bad his receivers are and the lack of catching ability that they hold. So that was a big story. The Raiders and Chargers, another electrifying game, just like we thought, coming down to the wire. Derek Carr, again, proving not to be clutch. We'll see what happens. He's got to understand that he has more than one read than Davante Adams, so that is interesting. And then the Chiefs, I think I would say they're the biggest surprise, non-surprise of the entire day. I think everybody knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to be fine, but I don't think they really knew. Patrick Mahomes is going to be just fine without Tyreek Hill. So the Chiefs back into that dominant number either 1 or 2 position, depending on how you think the Bills did on Thursday. We saw some action. It was we saw some good action. We didn't see some great action in other games. Give me your thoughts on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, the Sunday afternoon games were pretty good. I can't wrap my head around the New York Giants beating the Tennessee Titans, and I can only point one finger, and that's at.
And Derrick Henry getting absolutely decleated by that giant linebacker, which I've never seen before, by the way.
Yeah, no. It was a wild, there were some wild events over there in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City. I'm just done with this whole Ryan Tannehill thing. He did his thing in Miami where it was, that didn't work out. Then Tennessee, he's just got to go. He just got to go. I don't care who you put in at this point. We've got to try something else out. If it's broke, you have to fix it. And it's broken, clearly. You're wasting Derrick Henry's career. You're taking a loss. This was a must-win. In my opinion, it's a must-win with these games where
you can't lose these games.
Where you're playing against retread teams. You're playing against teams that are bottom tier, that projected top 5 draft pick. You cannot drop. You can't afford to lose these games because you have big games. Like you got to play against the Bills and things like that. You got to. Yep. There's big games like that where you're probably going to lose, and so these are the makeup wins that you need, and people don't read into that really. But what separates one team from the 7th seed to the 8th seed? A lot of times it's one game. So
Tennessee
dropped the ball. Very disappointed in Tennessee, but this is my thing. I got nothing more than they ain't gonna win anything until they get rid of Ryan Tannehill. That's it. So if you're comfortable with being, you're in a terrible division. You're just in an absolutely terrible division. Nobody even won a game in your division. So here's my thing. You need to test drive the new guy out in Malik Willis. Moving on, as far as Green Bay to Minnesota, I had a feeling, I had a hunch of what was going to occur when you don't have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, when you don't have Allen Lazard, when you don't have the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, arguably the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, because everybody has their subjective opinion on that. Davante Adams, one of the best route runners I've ever seen, one of the best receivers I've ever seen in my life. That's the product you're going to get. Hardly anything on offense. 7 points. Was not surprised at all that Minnesota came out and kicked them in the teeth. Hell of a performance. Kirk Cousins actually looked good. You have his jersey on. He looked good.
Yeah.
Captain
Kirk looked good.
Looked phenomenal. They got the run game going a little bit. They got a lot of good running backs on that team. Minnesota looked really, really good. They look like contenders early. As far as Kansas City, I predicted it. I thought Kansas City was going to win this game. I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be still the best quarterback in that division. And I thought by adding Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster, you have a different name for the guy. I'm not going to go there. This guy,
Poo-poo?
he looked really. What was that?
You mean poo-poo?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, poo-poo Smith-Schuster.
Just no respect for this man. Just no respect for this man. So he picked up right where he left off. I knew that you still have Travis Kelce, who's one of the best tight ends to ever touch football. And then obviously Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a good game. They look really solid. Patrick Mahomes is a hell of a quarterback. He can work with what he has, and obviously don't forget he has Andy Reid. So was not surprised
now
that they beat the Cardinals.
Are the Chiefs that good, or are the Cardinals that bad? Because I think Kyler Murray also got slightly exposed.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that you could say the Chiefs are a pretty good team, but the Cardinals are also pretty bad. So that's why it kind of balanced out. I think it was like 44-14 at some point. I think it should have been more 35-21 or 35-23 if they had DeAndre Hopkins. I think not having DeAndre Hopkins is a big deal. I think that far as, are you going to win the game? Probably not. But you are going to be able to compete if you have a wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins.
That's true.
So, and then saving the best for last. What a game in Los Angeles. It looked like it was a Raider home game. But when you're doing silent counts on your own field, it's always crazy. We saw the 49ers last year. But, man, all I got to do is there's two takeaways from that game. Three main takeaways that I have from that game. The best game of the afternoon. Justin Herbert is that guy. He's throwing times. He's an excellent quarterback, just able to move. He reminds me of Mahomes and Allen. They're just that upper echelon, top tier, new age quarterbacks, and I like all three of them. Justin Herbert, I think, has earned his place in there, even though he hasn't won a playoff game yet. I do think that they will win a playoff game this year. Don't want to get too far ahead.
Okay.
But what a game! And another takeaway is Khalil Mack is still that guy. 3 sacks and a forced fumble.
Yeah.
Really, really good first game for him now that he's got Bosa on the other side. And the final takeaway,
huge.
I had to go there. I don't want to go there, Raider fans, but you know I got to go there. The only thing I can say about the Raiders is you guys have a hell of a team. I just believe that Derek Carr is holding you back. I just think that he is. I think that don't take anything away from his talent. He's got a hell of an arm. He can throw dimes. The problem is his situational awareness. And in those situations where you got to come up clutch, this man is like a deer in headlights, unfortunately, throwing picks all over the place, standing still and just getting sacked, not moving around. And like you said, being very one-dimensional and throwing it to a predictable Devontae Adams. You got to mix it up a little bit. You got to throw it to Darren Waller. You got to switch it up. I expect we'll see a different Derek Carr next week, maybe. But, I mean, just a hell of a game. I really enjoyed that. It came down to the wire. It didn't let me down at all.
Yeah, that Sunday afternoon was definitely had some interesting games, right? Definitely had some interesting games. Then we moved to Sunday night, and what was kind of a snooze fest. And breaking news: Dallas Cowboys already eliminated from the playoffs. We don't even need to worry about it. So all their 17 home games are all looks like it's just going to be more for the visitor rather than the home team. So, what are your thoughts on the Bucs? Cowboys. It was kind of an injury fest. I mean, if we look at the injury report for both teams, there are a lot of names on there. So what are your thoughts on that kind of our Sunday kickoff? Tampa, who started us off last season. By the way, I failed to realize that Tampa and Dallas were the opening game last season. They're the closing game this season. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a typical week 1 game. You got a lot of injuries. You got a lot going on there. But everything went as according to plan for me. I wanted Tampa Bay to win that game. I wanted Julio to pull up, and Julio Jones to me looked pretty good. And to have him, I know that Chris Godwin got a little bit hurt there, a little banged up. He'll be fine. But you got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Julio Jones. To me, that is a crazy Tampa wide receivers. Leonard Fournette was doing his thing. He was running all over the Dallas Cowboys. Leonard Fournette, always been a beast. And then we give Brady. I mean, he came out. He looked like he didn't miss a step at all. Brady looked good, and that's why they call him the GOAT. So, and then poor Dak. It sucks to see somebody, your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, get hurt in the first game, but he didn't look good even before the injury. Looked like he was struggling. And I don't know if getting rid of Amari Cooper was the best move for them. Just because you're relying heavily on CeeDee Lamb, and it's like
they're missing a piece.
They're
definitely missing something.
I feel like you're missing a piece. And here's my thing too. My takeaway from that game is, and this is what I was saying. I didn't really mention it last year. It's kind of flying under the radar. Now I can now it's in front of my face, and now I can kind of bring it out in front of everybody, and especially you. I want to maybe I can ask you this question directly. What's going on with Ezekiel Elliott? I mean, this guy is just I don't know, man. I just feel like he's done or something. Like he's fallen off.
He's gone the way of Todd Gurley, which is off a cliff.
Oh, he had so much potential. He had so much potential. I think it was the 2016 and 2017 season. This guy was running all over everybody. I just feel like he's just disappeared now.
Yeah, the days of him jumping in the Salvation Army pot and all that stuff, those days are long gone for our friend Ezekiel Elliott, I believe, as well. Basically losing the starting job to Tony Pollard, now splitting the carries there in Dallas. I don't know if it's a change of scenery that he needs. I don't know if it's just basically, his prime is past him, and he's just now a 1-2 guy. He's not a 1 guy. So Ezekiel Elliott, we'll see what happens there. But the Dallas Cowboys, Cooper Rush, efficient, but I don't know if he's going to be more efficient than the other quarterbacks in that NFC East this season. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And our last game, Monday night, if you haven't seen Peyton Manning, the clip of Peyton Manning, it's one of the greatest things of all time.
We got 3 timeouts, E. I might use one right here, E. Let's use one. Let's talk about this one. They're gonna try to draw. They can try to draw him off sides. Might try to draw him off sides, E.
You don't have that much time.
Snap count?
You don't want to waste that much time, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we should call timeout, like now.
They're running a play. They look unsettled. Sutton doesn't know what he's doing. Hurry up. Timeout.
What the? So you just burned 30 seconds to call a timeout?
But we move to the debacle. We're going to call it. That's the new game of that game. It's just called the debacle. We move to Monday night. We got the Seattle Seahawks trying to thwart Russell Wilson's return home, and boy, did Geno Smith come out looking like Geno Montana. This guy was looking locked in like ever before.
Don't ever say that.
Looking locked in like ever
together, man. I will shut this down. Do not put those 2 names together again. That's disgraceful. That is disgraceful.
Looking like Geno Hasselback out there, dominating, absolutely dominating the Denver Broncos. Russ, $245 million to not have the power to call a timeout. Give it to me. Give it.
Yeah,
Let it out.
I've been waiting all week for this one. So first off, let's just start off with, I mean, the Broncos. I'm not giving Geno Smith. Whatever, fine. He had some good passes. Whatever. Okay. Never liked Geno Smith. I don't believe in Geno Smith. Fine. They wrote him off. He didn't write back. Whatever. Okay. So this is what I have. That Broncos defense looked awful. It looked like booty in the first half. Okay. Horrible defense. Okay. In the first half. I'm saying the first half. Second half, they tightened up a little bit. So we're going to go there. You know, you never want to see it with Jamal Adams. You're just, it's like I don't know, man, what's going on with this guy. It's like he's made of glass. He just gets hurt every single time he plays. I think he's out for the year or out for like 12 weeks or something. I didn't even look, but I think
a long time.
For a long time. We'll just say that, for a long time. For a long enough time where it doesn't even matter. So, because it's not going to factor in, you know, in the next few games. So, that sucks. Hopefully he heals up quickly. You don't ever want to see anybody hurt, but he gets hurt a lot, man. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And then as far as that game, I mean, Russ looked really good. I think he threw for almost 350 yards. He was in full control of that offense. And you know, they have some good receivers. Obviously, Cortland Sutton's a good receiver, and Jerry Jeudy's a great receiver. But it's not like he's picking up and getting Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like, they still have some work. They're pretty young. Yeah. They haven't had a lot of, you know, touches. They haven't had, obviously, good quarterbacks. But now that Russ is there, you know, just getting acclimated with that offense, he looked pretty decent. I will give him his credit. Now, Seattle has to be the luckiest team of all time. They have to be the luckiest team of all time. Because this is what I have to say. Not only do they fumble once at the 1 yard line, the Broncos, they fumble twice at the 1 yard line. And guess what? The ball somehow ended up not even at the 1 yard line. It ended up at the 10 yard line and the 20 yard line. That would only happen with Seattle, where they're not backed up into their end zone. That would only happen with them. So 2 fumbles that happened, okay? Geno Smith, to me, did nothing in the second half. They shut that down. I don't even think Seattle – wait, let me think. I'm just trying to think back. I don't even know if Seattle scored any points in the second half. If they did, it was like a field goal maybe. I don't even remember, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And so I think going into the half, it was 17-13. I don't even think Seattle scored a point in the second half. They looked terrible in the second half. Only Seattle would find a way to escape that. I mean, honestly, they should have lost by at least 14. But we will go down to the final drive of the game. The drive that everybody talks about, that everybody's going to remember. You drive down, you have 47 seconds left. You let the clock run down to 20, then you take a timeout to have McManus come out and take a Justin Tucker-like kick. Number one, we're not in Denver. Number two, he's not Justin Tucker, okay? I already knew that wasn't going in. Dumbest call. It's okay. It's not the dumbest call ever. I'm sorry. The dumbest call ever is not handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch at the 1 yard line. So you can never we could start there. It's the second dumbest call of all time, because you pay this guy $250 million to get you that first down with 5 yards left. You still had another timeout. You had 2 timeouts. Throw a 10-yard cross route over the middle. Call timeout. Russell Wilson has been doing this and manufacturing this and drives like this in his entire career. Seattle fans are atrocious. They did not deserve this. You're going to boo the only man to a Super Bowl? The disrespect? Yeah. Like you do popcorn and trash at DeVaro Bowen when he's tore his MCL? If any of your fans, I don't care. Your fans are atrocious. You guys are disgraceful. I will visit all 32 stadiums except for your retread Lumen Stadium. I will never go there. I don't want to be in close proximity with all of your fans. I thought that was atrocious that you booed Russell Wilson. They didn't deserve it, but here's my thing. Boy, I can't wait till next week.
Next week is going to be interesting, and next week...
Russell Wilson, I want to know your thoughts on that.
It's Seattle, so I don't expect much. I mean, clearly, people are confused about how everything went down there in Seattle, about how Russ's exit I guess, actually took place. So I'm not really surprised. I'm sure eventually he will get cheered. Obviously, they're hurt, they're upset. They got their win. They can enjoy it for 4 years, and then we'll see if Russ can come back and win when he's old. Old Russ in Seattle. We'll see what happens. Probably his last season in the NFL will probably be the last game with Seattle, of course. But this is what I think on Seattle. And it's real easy. Seattle is going to be good until teams figure it out. Once teams figure it out, Seattle will no longer be good because they just don't have the pieces to compete with all these other teams once they figure it out, right? We all know that week 1 of the NFL is basically preseason week number 4. It's just everybody figuring it out. Obviously, right? We've seen it, right? With Joey B being his first start, being his first action of the entire season, that line seeing first action for the entire season. A lot of these guys, right? Russell Wilson seeing action for the first time. That Denver offense seeing action for the first time. It makes no sense to me that these coaches don't play their starters. Play them in the last game. Play them for 1 or 2 series. Play them for a quarter. If you're that afraid that they're going to get injured, then you need to reevaluate who you're throwing out there because no one should be that fragile. I understand accidents happen, but no one should be that fragile to where you are not starting your starters in preseason just to get them ready. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I bet you, if we go back and look at preseason, the teams that did play their starters, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them won in week 1. I would be willing to bet that a lot of them ended up winning in week 1, those who actually got on the field and played. So week 2, now that people actually have, kind of that experience under their belt, I do expect to see a little bit more different results. We're going to see some wacky and crazy things. I don't doubt it, but I do think week 2 is going to hold a lot more just normalcy. I think we're going to kind of return back to normal. I think we're going to kind of see, things just kind of be the way that they actually should be. So we're going to break it all down in our normal Meat on the 50 episode. I hope you guys are ready. But that is going to do it for your week 1 review, right? We broke it all down for you, and we hope you've enjoyed, right? We hope you've enjoyed, whether you're new, whether you're returning. We hope you have enjoyed, and we're going to come at you with our week 2 picks. We're coming at you with our week 2 expectations, our breakdowns, analysis, takeaways, thoughts, all that good stuff. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Oh, just a pleasure to go over the last week's games, and I'm hoping that next week will be just as good as the week that we just witnessed, but different results.
That's right. And as always, what I'm going to tell you. If at any point you like what you saw during this video, you know what you do. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime new videos drop, you're right there. You're right there to consume the content because we're going to be dropping videos all season long, and you're not going to want to miss any of them. I promise you that. You're just not going to want to miss any of them because we're going to be bringing the fire all season long. That's going to do it for our week 1 review. I am Jacob Cutler, the fantasy guy. That is, God damn it, I thought I would remember. That is one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. And until Meat on the 50, we will see you guys